this.
Okay, sorry.
I'd like to call this budget hearing and annual meeting to order. Today is July 23rd, 2025. So we'll go right into business.
So we can turn to page 8 in your packets. And I don't know, will they have not online? Okay.
No, online, they won't be able to follow.
Okay. So at the top of page 8 is our general fund balance. The district's unassigned fund balance decreased by about $75,000 this year. We are still above our 17% GASB 54 board policy threshold, but we are anticipating additional legal invoices to come in. So I expect that deficit to increase probably somewhere around 100,000. The 25-26 budget also does not include any additional money being added to the fund balance. So equal revenues and expenditures. That will cause our fund balance to dip slightly below our preferred target of 17%. I'm estimating about 16.8%. As far as revenues, the 200 series sources is money from local sources. So 210 is sources for our levy and trailer tax. The 23-24 amount also included amounts for a TID district payout. And that was about $165,000 from the village of Hammond. For 24-25 and 25-26, that includes the levy and mobile home taxes. The levy is based off of flat September enrollment and a flat summer school FTE. So we will adjust those when we get to the third Friday in September count and have those actual numbers for our enrollment. We are anticipating that our 3-year rolling average will decrease from about 1,606 this past year, 24-25, to 1,586 in 25-26 due to decreasing enrollment. We are also estimating that the general aid amount remains the same as 24-25, and we've included the 4th year of the recurring referendum at $375,000. I'm only going to touch on items that maybe are a little more significantly different than the prior year. Source 260 increased quite a bit, and that's mostly due to our CAP class program at the high school and also AP testing fees. But we also saw an increase because of the new CTE addition at the high school, with revenues coming in for greenhouse sales, Panther Design, and Panther Prints. And Panther Catering, which has been around for a few years now, also saw their revenues increase. So all of those amounted to a difference in 23-24 of about 80,000 up to 107,000 for 24-25. Our admission to sporting events also increased a little bit. $15,000 of that was for the FBLA regional event, which added some money in there. Interest on investments decreased slightly this year. We're anticipating them to remain pretty stable moving forward, as the Federal Reserve has kept the prime lending rate stable since last December. When we go into our source 300 series, that's money coming from other Wisconsin school districts. So source 310 is our youth apprenticeship grant through the River Falls School District. And then source 340 is all of our open enrolled students who are open enrolling into St. Croix Central. So that includes our virtual school and also kids that are sitting in seats in our buildings. Going on to the 500 series sources, those are amounts coming from CISA or coming from a technical college. In 23-24, we received about 1.8 million. Most of that was from CVTC for the Restore grant for the Advanced Manufacturing Center at the high school. You can see that decreased significantly in 24-25 as we spent those final amounts of the grant. And of course, moving forward into 25-26, that grant has been fully spent. So we're not anticipating anything further there. Our state sources, source 610 is library aid and transportation aid. That did decrease or increase in 24-25, and that was mostly our library aid increasing. Source 620 is the general aid that I was talking about. We will get our general aid estimate in October, and then we will put that new amount in there when we set the levy in October. Source 690 is another one that's it's been pretty stable, but it's decreasing. And most of it is our per pupil adjustment aid that we receive from the state. And because our 3-year rolling average is decreasing, those amounts are also decreasing slightly. Going to page 9, our federal sources. So this is money coming from the federal government. You can see source 730 in 23-24 was about 1.1 million. Most of that was the COVID relief ESSER funding, which was fully spent in the first quarter of 24-25. So moving forward, we only have our Title II and Title IV aids that will be recorded in that source. And then source 750 below that is our Title I aid. And you can see in 23-24, it was about 105,000. 24-25, it decreased to 60,000, and our estimate for next year is 51,000. Source 860 and 870. 860 was a receipt that we received from Mint Roofing for the middle school gym floor, and source 870 was a bus lease that we entered into last fall, where we record both the revenue and the expenditure when we take out that lease. And that's the amounts that you see there. Source 900 series are just miscellaneous items, adjustments, and then 970 is our workers' comp dividend. So overall for revenues in 24-25, we were at just over 27 million. And for 25-26, we're anticipating 27.2 million. Any questions on revenues? All right, moving on to expenditures. We have several items that affect a lot of the different function areas. So I'll just go through those quickly. Most of them relate to staff salaries and benefits. So for 25-26, the board did approve a 2.95% salary increase for staff. We also had some budget reductions of a 1 FTE behavioral interventionist and a 1 FTE special education paraprofessional. We did freeze the substitute pay rates at the 24-25 pay level and the extracurricular pay scales. So the extracurricular pay scales will allow for lane movement for 24-25, but there will be no increase in the dollar amounts per cell. The district's health insurance premiums increased by 5.5% in calendar year 2025. The budget assumes a 10% increase in health insurance starting January 1st of 26. This is the second year of a 2-year agreement with Health Partners, so we're hoping that we can renegotiate with them and get that amount reduced. We also estimated a 2% increase in dental insurance, that our 403B contribution will remain the same at 2%. And no increase in vision, district HSA contributions, life insurance, disability insurance, or cash in lieu of option. The WRS rates are increasing 0.5% overall, so 0.25% for both employer and employee. And that information came out after we had the budget submitted to the newspaper. So we will make those adjustments in October when we set the levy. Some of the other budget cuts that were made for 25-26 include a 10% reduction in budgets at the elementary, middle, high school, and virtual school. We did leave the athletic budgets the same because so much of their expenditures are fixed costs with ref fees and game working fees. Any questions on any of the specific functions with changes? I guess one thing to point out was that function 410,000 for our special education transfer with the increase in salaries from 23-24 to 24-25 did increase by about $300,000. And we're hoping to keep that fairly stable with the increase in categorical aid for 25-26. Okay, going on then. Page 10, we have our special funds, Fund 21 and 27. So Fund 21 is all of our student activity accounts, and Fund 27 is our special education accounts. Those are combined at the top of page 10. The fund balance that you see there are all of the amounts that are available in the student activity accounts. So we assume that their July 1st cash balance is what they're going to raise in the following year for revenue as well as spend. So that balance stays the same. So you can see those revenues and expenditures there for both of those. We also, moving down, we have our Fund 38, non-referendum debt. So that's for our energy efficiency projects. And you can see those payments there remaining fairly stable. Fund 39 is also remaining stable. We did levy an additional 2.4 million in 24-25 to prepaid debt for mill rate stability. And this budget includes an additional 2.7 million for mill rate stability in 25-26. Fund 40 is our building fund. So the majority of those funds are from the referendum. So those will be spent as we get into the beginning part of the 25-26 school year, about $44,000 left in that account. Fund 50 is our food service fund. So everything for food service runs through Fund 50, all the revenues that come in from student meals and all the payments that go out for staff salaries for those people working in the food service department go through Fund 50. We're estimating just shy of $1 million for their budget for next year. Community Service Fund, Fund 80. We are increasing the levy for Fund 80 by $15,000 from $70,000 to $85,000 to accommodate an additional cost for the YMCA program over at the middle school. The remainder of those funds are mostly the kids care program at the elementary. Then we get into our levy. So we're looking at a total levy for 25-26 of about 12.5 million. And that's an increase of just over 5%. It keeps our mill rate stable at $9.20 per thousand. And that assumes a 5% increase in property values. So if we continue to look through the packet, we have pages 12 and 13 are the same information that I just presented. It's just in a different, more condensed format. So the format we went through is the posting that goes in the newspaper the first week, and page 12 and 13 are the posting that goes in the newspaper the second week. Page 14 through, 14 and 15 is our community education summary. So that will give you more information about what we're doing in our community ed programs. Page 16 is our energy efficiency update. Page 17 is a listing of all the school districts in our CISA and their mill rates and different amounts that they're levying for 24-25. So that is last year's data. Page 18, 19, and 20 are our debt service schedules that Beard provides us. So you can see all the debt service payments that we're required to pay out. And page 21 is our equalized values. So this is where we're estimating that 5% increase in property values. And then lastly is our calendar for 25-26. Any other questions?
All right. So we need a motion to adjourn the budget hearing. Jeff made the motion.
Second.
Brad second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now I would like to call the annual meeting to order. The first order of business is the elected chairperson to open the nominations.
I move we elect Eric Herrick as meeting chairperson. Howard, this is your turn.
Howard Kirsch, second that.
Jeff and Howard, are there any other nominations?
I'd like to make a motion to close nominations.
Tim made the motion. Dave second. Right, now we need to,
Close. Close.
so I need,
Motion to vote on closing nominations. Yeah.
Right.
Motion.
all right, I'll call,
And everybody can vote. It's not just the board.
yeah, we're all, so we need a motion to vote, or call to an order to vote for Erica Herring as chairperson.
Close nominations first.
Nominations.
Those nominations,
All those in favor?
all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Motion on election of the chair.
All right, now we need the motion to elect the chair.
Aye.
Call for the vote.
All in favor,
Aye.
opposed? All right, motion carries.
Now we're done. Now we're done.
Everybody, that is as a reminder, everyone who is the district president can vote today. So the next is approved minutes of annual meeting for July 22nd, 2024.
We approve the minutes as posted for July 22nd, 2024.
So Jeff made the motion. Dave second. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report by board treasurer Dave Bruce. It's in your.
Page 6.
Yep, page 6.
Page 6 in the.
Okay,
So bank account balances as of June 30th, 2025. The Citizen State Bank checking balance is $3,062,815.88. Money market account is $12,292.14. Fund 46 is $60.80. Suicide prevention fund is $5,383.77. Debt service is $935.34. Referendum amount is $60,707.48. For a total account balance of $3,142,195.41.
Thank you. So now we need a motion.
I'll second.
Any the motion to second, is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Any old business? All right, moving on to new business. Those are the resolutions on page
21 for each, right?
Yeah.
Read the whole thing too? Nope. All right, I'll make the motion to recommend a tax levy of $12,540,418 for the 25-26 school year with an approximate mill rate of 0.00920047. The actual mill rate will be determined after receipt of 2025 valuations. To support the Fund 10 budget expenditures of $27,231,185, Fund 30 budget expenditures of $6,613,852, and Fund 80 expenditures of $400,000.
Second.
So Lance made the motion, Jeff second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Make next motion, be it hereby resolved that the Board of Education of St. Croix Central School District, St. Croix County, Wisconsin, State of Wisconsin is authorized to make short-term loans for current operating expenses up to $900,000.
Jeff made the motion, Dave second. Any more discussion?
Jen, do you just want to explain why we borrow money?
Yeah, there are certain points because we only receive our state aid payments at certain times during the year that we might run low on cash. So we do a short-term borrow in order to make payroll and accounts payable bills.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next.
I'd like to make a motion authorizing the purchase of accident insurance. Be resolved that the Board of Education, St. Croix Central School District, State of Wisconsin, be authorized to provide student accident insurance and pay for the same for all pupils grades 4K through 12 of the school district. Such insurance will be contracted with Gallagher.
I made the motion.
Second.
Brad second. Any more discussion?
Just how do we determine Gallagher?
Yeah, used it forever, but
I know we have, but
Yeah, we've been with them for a long time and they've actually been holding our rate stable. We have had some quotes from other places and it's usually comes in higher. So.
Any other discussion? Questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. The next one.
I'll make a motion to authorize lease of school district property, buildings and equipment. Be it hereby resolved that the Board of Education, St. Croix Central School District, St. Croix County, State of Wisconsin, be authorized to lease property, buildings and equipment not needed for school purposes.
Dave made the motion, Howard second. Any more discussion or questions?
principally it's farmland, but
Yeah.
the mow,
Doing.
we would cost us money to mow.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. one.
Make a motion to establish compensation expense reimbursement for Board of Education. Be it hereby resolved that the electors of St. Croix Central School District, St. Croix County, State of Wisconsin, on the following yearly compensation be adopted for the Board of Education, including expenses incurred when traveling outside the school district and performance of duties in accordance to board policies.
Same pay as last year, Brett.
Does it say it on here? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
same.
Right, so Brad made the motion, Howard second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, Vice President.
On that motion,
We don't care.
they're not a paid, right? Yeah, well, we do have that officer position. It's not paid.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any business from the floor? Hearing none, we can move on to set the date, time, and location of the 26th annual meeting.
You have a anticipated date that you want?
Should be the, what is it?
Actually, the fourth Monday.
Monday, typically.
That'd be the 27th.
Of July.
Unless if we're gonna do it like this again. I don't know when the board meeting.
Yeah.
That works better.
Yeah. So July 29th.
So then,
22nd.
the 22nd,
Are we
yeah,
okay with that? With the
Can you
audit
get
and
it done?
everything? Timeline?
I think so. Yeah, because today's the 23rd, right? So pretty close.
I'll make a motion that we set the annual meeting date of, Wednesday, July 22nd at 6 PM at, the district office. Second.
Tim made the motion, Brad second. Any other discussion?
That's the budget hearing at 6 and meeting.
Well,
follow.
typically we do the budget hearing a half an hour earlier. Oh, we had a board meeting.
Yeah, special board.
Okay.
So
So
we'll
budget
have to
hearing
do
at
the
6,
same.
Budget hearing and annual meeting. Convening at 6 PM.
Budget hearing and then your meeting, the meeting will follow.
Mhm.
That's the district
Okay.
office.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right, motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Right, so I need- And Dave second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it's adjourned.
We're just keeping time on that.
What time do we start?
6:02.